In this special episode, we talked to school board candidate Brian Laible from the Panther Eye. This is RNL.
So, where did you go to school and what is your degree?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and any other students that might be listening or other people. And so, as far as my background, and I went to Canisius College. I got my undergraduate degree in accounting and finance, and then worked for a few years. And then I went back to school to the University of Notre Dame and got my MBA from Notre Dame.
Why do you think you're the best candidate?
I think that I bring a different perspective to the board. I'm a father of four. I have children that are going into the Sweet Home District program or are currently in school already at the elementary school. When I say a father of four, I'm actually a father of three, but my wife is pregnant and we're expecting our fourth child within the week. So, we're close. But I'm also an entrepreneur that's unique and different from what's on the board. I have 20 years of business experience. I understand what current employers are looking for in terms of practical skill set. And as I said, I think I have strong academic credentials, being a graduate of Canisius, which is a really high quality local college, and then also Notre Dame, which has, a more national reputation. So I think I can bring a different perspective to the board.
What would you say to those who wouldn't vote for you because the union didn't give you their endorsement?
Well, first of all, I would hope everybody would vote for the candidate that they felt was the most qualified, whether or not they received an endorsement or not. And not only in this election, and I think, particularly speaking to students in any election, I think it's important that we look beyond endorsements or party affiliations, because there's a lot of good people out there that may or may not be endorsed for some reasons that are out of their control even, and so regarding the union endorsement, I didn't have the opportunity to interview, and I don't think the union interviewed a few of the candidates, which is surprising to me and a little bit disappointing, because I would have liked to have the opportunity to introduce myself to them, to talk to them about my credentials and my background. And I just want to say that I'm a really big supporter of teachers. I actually have teachers from high school and even grade school that I continue to keep in touch with, and some of these are very good friends of mine. I would say that's unusual, right? Like 20 years later, I'm still connected with the teachers that helped me. And so I think the one thing I want to emphasize is that I'm a big supporter of the teachers. I know that really you need two things to make a school. You need a teacher and you need a student, and that's where the learning starts, right? And the teachers are in the trenches with the students day in and day out. And for those who would consider me, I would hope that they would look at my credentials and my background and the fact that I am a big supporter of teachers, and also understand that, again, I wasn't given the opportunity to even interview with this teachers union. So, I would say look at my credentials and my background, because I think I have a lot to offer, not only to benefit the teachers, but, the students and the citizens of the Sweet Home District.
How do you think your entrepreneurship will help you be a good school board member?
Being an entrepreneur is a unique experience. There are times when there's the fog in terms of the decisions. Everything's not laid out clearly for you. When you start your business, right, you have to have faith, you have to show leadership, and you have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing, even though you don't have complete information. Again, it's not a clear path. Not everything is laid out in front of you. And I think that's the case in many type of leadership positions. Leadership is messy, right? There's not all the answers right there. That's why it's called leadership. You have to lead without complete clarity, without complete information. And I think as an entrepreneur, I do that day in and day out. The easy decisions don't come to me. Those are already made. The difficult decisions are the ones that get to my desk. And you begin to build a skill set and a knowledge and the ability to have good judgment in making decisions without all the information or without complete information. That sometimes you're going to have to disappoint some people in order to benefit the organization at a larger level. And so I think those skill sets are really important to the board. And I think it's a different perspective that maybe the other board members don't have, because I am working day in and day out to succeed. My success is not brought to me. I have to make it happen. So I understand the practical elements that go into making an organization work day in and day out, again, without anything being laid out in front of me, having to create that. And so I think those are really good skill sets that I can bring to the table.
You said a dream can be accomplished with hard work and perseverance. However, there are students in our district from whom hard work and perseverance isn't enough. What would you say to make them succeed as well?
I think what's important for all students is that they have a mentor, they have someone they can look up to, somebody they can uh, go to with questions, and someone that believes in them. I was lucky enough to have not only one, but a handful of mentors growing up, and they made a big, big difference in my life. You know, all the academics, all the sports, all the other pieces they talk about being a well-rounded student, those are all important, but I can tell you there's a real value to having a mentor, somebody who will open a door for you, somebody who will make a call for you, somebody when you're in a bind or you're trying to figure out the direction to go, they can help you through that. That makes such a difference. And I want to tell you, as a student, a story that my mentor told me that to this day is something I live by, is the power of compounding. Now, I'm in the world of finance. I don't know if you've understood or heard about compounding, but let me give you a parable about this. If you took $100 and invested it on the day you were born, or your parents did, and it was invested for 85 years, let's say your entire life, and you earned 10%, that $100 would grow to about $300,000. That's a lot of money, right? But if instead of just 10%, you earned 11%, that would be more than double. It would be over $700,000. But I'm not talking about money, okay? What I'm talking about is in life, the difference between many people who succeed and don't succeed isn't doing tremendously great things in any given time. It's going the extra 1% day in and day out. And I can tell you that was the advice that was given to me, and that's helped me a great deal in success. It wasn't just going to Notre Dame or graduating from Canisius, but it was the day in and day out of saying, you know what, I'm going to take an extra 15 minutes to study for this exam, or I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes to help a friend out, or I'm going to stay an extra 15 minutes this week at work to put a little extra effort in because I know we're under a deadline. So those little things over and over again over a lifetime, whether they're at school, whether they're at work, they add up and they make a big difference over time. So that would be a message that I would leave with the students. But more than anything, I was given that by a mentor, and I think that's what's important, is that mentors are in the lives of our students, and that we look to understand that and to make sure that they're available to our students.
You mentioned a lot of priorities in the Meet the Candidates newsletter. What would you say to some of your top priorities?
I think the biggest thing right now is the concern about the budget cuts. Governor Cuomo has alluded to that there could be significant cuts in education because of the state being essentially bankrupt, which, by the way, is disappointing. We're one of the highest tax states in the country, and yet we're facing really severe budget issues. So thinking about the budget, the one thing I would want to say is that I don't want to see any student programming cut, and I don't want to see any of the sports, arts, extracurricular activities cut unfairly. So if we do have to face budget cuts, I hope that those cuts are, first of all, minimized to the extent we can, and then that they are shared equally by the various stakeholders, because it's not fair for one sport or one extracurricular activity or one music program or one art program to be unfairly eliminated. I think that if we do get to that point, we can all maybe uh, tighten the belt, so to speak, cut things just a little bit, so we can all still enjoy and benefit from those activities. But maybe we can do things just on a little bit of a tighter budget. So that would be a big priority for me, because I don't think it's fair for any one program to bear the burden alone.
How do you feel like being a parent will inform your decision?
I think it's really important to be have the perspective of a parent. I think that's, again, one of the nice things that I can bring to the table for the board right now. Being a parent and having students, and children that are students, it gives me the perspective of what they're going through and also what their teachers are going through. I'm talking to the teachers, and my wife is talking to the teachers on a regular basis. We're getting feedback from our children on every day. But when you have kids, you can't fight their battles. They have to go through it themselves. But you can see where the teachers and the district is focusing their time and their effort. And I think it really gives you a strong perspective. Someday you may have children, and when you do, you'll see, when that child's born, your whole world changes. One week they're not here, the next week they are, and you couldn't imagine your life without them. And you're rooting for them. You want to see them succeed. You're invested in their success at a very deep and personal level. And so I think that intimate connection that you have with your children also gives you an intimate connection with your school. It really makes you care about the success, not only of your kids, but of their friends and of their teachers and of the school district as a whole.
So is there anything else you'd like to say to the voters?
I'd just like to say to the voters to please consider my candidacy and consider voting for me. Look at my background and my credentials. I think I bring a lot to the table as a parent of four, as a graduate of Canisius and Notre Dame, as an entrepreneur, and as a person with a business experience. I'm in the community, I'm volunteering, and ultimately as somebody who cares deeply about not only my children, but my children's friends, their parents, and our school district as a whole. I think I can bring a lot of unique and fresh ideas to the school board. And so, I'd be honored to have your vote, and I'd work every day to the best of my ability on behalf of the students, the parents, and the citizens of the district. I'm not coming here with any agenda other than to serve and to make a positive difference in the lives of our kids and the students of Sweet Home.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. The ballot deadline has been extended by Governor Cuomo to June 9th for hand delivery and June 16th for mail receipt. This gives everyone some extra time to mail in their ballots.